Hey guys, so now that I have my second year portfolio back from assessment, I can share with you my portfolio. It's going to be a bit different maybe from the first video I filmed, my first video a couple of weeks ago, my university first year portfolio. I'll link it below. This one's going to be a little bit different because the format of how we work has changed. We do things differently. We don't create sketchbooks anymore, like physical cutting and sticking books. We do it all online. We basically have like a blog where we like upload things. Unfortunately, you can't see, it's like a private thing. So this year I had slightly less projects, but we still did like the same amount of work. So between September and December I had 2 projects, like 2 practice-based projects. We also have essays and presentations and all kinds of other modules, but the ones I'm sharing with you are my portfolio, so my photography practice. And then in second term we also had dissertation proposal. Well, I'm not sharing that with you, but I will share with you the project that I did. I did one project this second term from January to like end of April. So I'm basically going to be sharing with you 3 modules, 2 that I did in first term and 1 from second term. The first one I will share with you is the studio set project. Now this was a project that was a group project, but it started off like as a solo project. A bit confusing, but you'll understand as I talk through it. Basically we had to create or design a set that could be built in a studio, like built from scratch. So it could be like the set of a music video or the set of like a film set or a TV set, that kind of thing. We then had to like design it on Photoshop, literally like a mock-up of the design of how it would look, and I will show you. I'm going to look at my laptop as I talk through, but I will probably put myself like in a little box in the corner of the screen and make everything else big. This is my studio set. Like we had to create a PDF, the kind of sketchbook style, so taking initial inspiration from Edward Hopper, who's like one of my favourite painters. It was just like an easy place to start, and then I've done some writing here about his work and like the lighting and such. This was a movie that I watched like the first 10 minutes of, but it's in, can't remember what language, that's really bad. But it's set in Hong Kong. So yeah, more inspiration. Like a lot of this is just like the inspiration board. I will skip through. I only shared one idea actually in this, but the idea that I had was to create a set that was like a scene from a movie of a motel room, but looking through the window from the outside, having someone stood outside the window looking in at like a couple in the room, kind of like as if it was like an affair, but obviously you can interpret it however you want as a viewer. So I then did some sort of research about how the motel room was going to look, taking inspiration from like famous motel scenes. I basically just looked at Psycho and Bates Motel, and also Pretty Little Liars. In Pretty Little Liars there is a motel called Lost Woods Resort, which is actually based off of Bates Motel, and they actually had a whole episode which was in homage to Psycho, and so they literally recreated the motel room from Psycho. So I thought it was interesting to like compare the original and then like a remake, but then like also making my own motel, if that makes sense. Obviously had to consider costs as well. That was just like a basic idea, and this is my final design. This is what I created literally from scratch on Photoshop. Built the room, made the window, tried to show like the reflection through the window. Really difficult to do. This was not easy to do at all, and this totally felt like a graphic design project. And then basically everyone in our group, there were like 5 people in a group, and everyone in the group had to pitch their idea. So I then took that PDF file and like changed it around a bit, made it into a PowerPoint presentation, pitched it to the group and the lecturer basically decided which one out of the group would get made. Unbelievably, mine got chosen, and I was really happy about that, and like proud of myself, and it was really cool, which that made like everyone in the group then got assigned like roles for what they would like be in charge of. And obviously because my idea was chosen, I was the art director, which I really liked because it meant that I was in control, and I like knowing what's doing and being the one that's organising things. So I was really glad that happened. And I'll try and share with you some photos of like the building of the work, because then basically what we had to do was we had 2.5 days to build the entire motel room scene and photograph it and then take it all down again. So we had to like paint walls, wallpaper walls, build beds, literally. And we also like only had a week before that to find and source all of the materials, so like it was a real challenge. It was a challenge, but it was so good. And just honestly, that whole project was so good, and like to be able to have like a final image and be like, that was my idea, that is my design. It is so cool. And yeah, really proud and me of the team for that. Highly enjoyed that project, so cheers guys. I then had an SDA project that was kind of running alongside that, but kind of didn't because I wasn't very good at organising myself. And basically I will show you like my online journal for this. This is where we had to like upload things as like a blog, and basically you just sort of upload like your process, what you're doing, week plans, all that kind of thing. So I kind of had this idea. I wanted to like explore my relationship and like experience with the ocean, but like without taking pictures of the sea. This project is really hard to explain, and none of my tutors really understood it, and it was just all one big confusing mess. But I wanted to explore like how like water makes you feel and things through visually trying to make you feel it through looking at photos that kind of move like the sea, and like, yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, and I kind of have put this project right to the back of my mind and never really want to look at it again. But yeah, so I'm probably just going through my journal on the screen, and there's some like first initial experimentation, some research. This was looking at like milk. I decided to put like food colouring in milk and see how it worked, and I did it also with oil. This was really fun to do, but it really didn't work quite out the way I wanted to. Yeah, I did lots of experiments. I found that moving image worked a lot better. We also had these sessions, a group crit, where you would pin all your work up on the wall, and then people would write like little post-it notes of like, you know, like helpful improvement kind of things, to help you along the way. I'm not sure if many of these videos are going to work when I try and load them on the webpage, but basically I just experimented with water and movement and trying to capture that in little snippets of clips, and then I also experimented with then playing those videos as projections. So we booked out a studio and I projected them onto the wall and onto the floor, and just sort of trying to create like an interaction between like the viewer and the work. I'm not sure if it really comes across how I wanted it to, but I did really enjoy that. And the moving image pieces weren't totally doing that for people, so I experimented with some paint and creating still images, which I really like and I think they work, but I mean, you can decide for yourself. I just really like the movement of the paint and how it looks like on the page and the way each image like flows across. So I experimented with that a bit. Also looked at adding sound to the projection. I think that was quite clever. Just really creating like an atmosphere. And then I also decided to play around with projections through shapes. So creating shapes and then projecting that onto the wall so that you could see only through like a circle or like an oval. And then those are the final prints. I will show you them printed out as well. I printed them onto A3, but they had a big border around them, so they were probably a bit smaller than that. And yeah, I personally think I enjoyed this project and it went well, but looking back on it, not so much. To my most recent project, which happily talk to you about. This project was called, I titled this project Serendipity, which we'll probably explain as we go through. But initially I wanted to explore nature, and this time actually photograph outside. I wanted to do something that would just get me outside and away from being inside and think about that last project. So I decided to, I knew straight away I wanted to create a book. I wanted to experiment with like design and digital things, which kind of came across. Oh, here's a mood board of like how I wanted things to look. They don't really look anything like that, but yeah. So I did some first experiments just on my iPhone. I realised that maybe I could develop this into something, which yes and no. I then decided that I wanted to solely shoot on this little camera that I have that I don't have to hand right now, but it is a little point and shoot camera that literally has like on and off, like you can turn it on and you can take a photo, and that's like literally all the settings. You can't zoom on the lens, you can't focus, you can't change any settings, and I just thought it would be really interesting to see what I could do with this. So I did this shoot, just testing the camera first of all, just to see what I could do with it. So I literally went for a little walk around Falmouth and shot these images, and the 4 along the bottom, I just thought that is what I want to like continue with. That kind of like blurry, out of focus, can't quite tell what it is kind of image. Really like that. Here's some initial research that I did of an artist that did a project all about a forest, and I just saw these photos and I was like, yes. Again, just some more experimenting. The send and shoot didn't really lead anywhere. Basically with this project it just took a lot of trial and error. I did a lot of photos, and then yeah, I went to like Glen Gardens and took a lot of photos there, and I really found the whole process like quite like therapeutic, and I wanted to focus this project all about that kind of feeling when you're in nature and you just suddenly like become calm, because like nature has like healing powers, and literally I've done so much reading about this. I'm like, it's true, it does. And there are some different theories like about that kind of thing, and yeah, this is where I wanted to like focus on like nature being like calming, relaxing, all of that good stuff. Oh, this is where we did a group crit, and I laid out like all of my prints, and then people like wrote down what they thought. We also had to write these like weekly summaries of things. I kind of stopped doing those towards the end. Here I was then like matching up the photos, because I'd taken like so many, I needed to like every now and again just like go through all of them and be like, yes, no, yes, no. Yes, we went to Nuki Aquarium and I did some photos there. Those are really cool photos, because like it looks like I went underwater, but actually I just took it through the glass of the aquarium. Cheating, yes, I did a lot of cheating. Yeah, I did a lot of shoots at Glen and Trebar Gardens. They were just easy places for me to like get to, and it just was easy to be in nature there. My tutors told me I had to talk about like gardens and like, because it's like constructed nature, isn't it? But I mean, that wasn't really important to the project. It was more just about the being in nature, and that was convenient, but I had to mention it in my essay. Yeah, because for every project you do, you have to write like an essay. So that's why I've got all these posts about like concept understanding and things. Again, I did lots of like going through so many prints. I've literally got like piles and piles of little tiny prints. So hopefully you've been able to like see those images through the journal without me having to like go through all the prints, because there are so many. I also did a test on an A1 print, as you can see here. Like that's how the image looked. I accidentally ripped it as I was unfolding it. We have an exhibition coming up at the end of May. I think you're probably seeing this video after it's happened, but yeah, we have this exhibition coming up, so I put a little post just about like what I was writing about the project, some more artists. So I called the project Serendipity because serendipity means finding something good without looking for it, and that was literally the process I was going on with going out into nature and photographing. I was literally just going out for a walk and sort of letting nature just almost like speak to me. I know that's really cringe, but like I was just going out for a walk, and then whatever was catching my eye, I'd take a picture. Maybe I wouldn't even hold the camera up to my face, I'd just like shove it in a bush and take a photo. That kind of thing. I was just like letting nature like completely inspire me. I decided that I wanted to create a book, so I did a lot of like experimenting. I literally like stuck photos all around my room to like help me decide like what order I wanted to do them in. And then also there was a really late sort of experiment. I wanted to take some photos of some leaves and some plants and kind of overlay them on some of the pages in the book. And then I also added in some of my digital like drawings and paintings that I'd been sort of doing alongside it. The final print layout, depending on when I upload this, I will try and take a picture and put it in from the display from the exhibition. It's really big because some of the pictures are like A3 size, one is A2, and the rest are like smaller around it. But that would just give you a better idea of how it looks on a wall, because I tried to create like a journey through the images, so like they kind of flow across the wall. As I said, I also created a book. I made the book through a website called Blurb, where you literally just upload like a PDF and then send it to print. So I didn't really know how the book was going to turn out and like what it would be like. I had no idea like how it would look, like how the paper would feel, how anything would look. I just printed it off, sent it to print, and like hoped for the best. I had 2 printed. I can't find one of them, but I have one here, so that's fine. But yeah, I'm really proud of this book. It looks so cool to like actually have like a printed thing with my photos in. And I also again tried to create like the journey through the book, so like the pictures, they flow through like colour, but also like they go sort of in and out of water, like the photos, and it's just like a journey through nature. And I really enjoyed this project. And I also created a moving image as well, which I didn't focus on too much because I really wanted to put all my attention like on the book, so that's what I did. And I really love all of it. This project really is the best one I've done yet, I think. I think that's just because I put more effort into it. Like I could have just done prints, but I did a book and I got it printed like really nice. That's it really. I'm so proud of this year's work, not so much the personal project from first term, but the studio set and this project were like my fave. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing in 3rd year. I had a little breakdown about that this morning after I spoke to my tutor. And I should have probably talked to him about stuff on the bus. I was like, damn, I know I have so many questions, whereas at the time I was like, nope, nothing. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed seeing my 2nd year portfolio. The next time I make one of these videos will be at the end of my 3rd year. Can't believe 3rd year is like, this time next year I will be done with uni. That is scary. I'm not ready for that. Yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you in a new video next week. Bye.